Hey everybody, Coach Markus and Coach Scott here, CrossFit Active Performance. Today we're going to be spending a few minutes going over the push-up. We're going to start with Scott here. He's going to show us first the finished product, and then we're going to deconstruct the movement. So you notice he comes all the way down, makes contact with his chest to the ground, his elbows are in, he's coming all the way up. Notice also that his thighs, hips, and chest or stomach are not touching the ground, and he's coming back out to full extension at the top. Go ahead and come on up. So let's deconstruct that. So first thing we're going to start with is hand position. So sometimes you see him really wide, you see him up too high. Basically what we're looking for here is we want the heel of Scott's palm to be even with the sternum here. So he lays down on the ground. Second thing also is we don't want to be out too wide. So he's going to make sure that he's about thumb's distance from his chest. Okay, now that he's got his hands placed, let's see what happens with the elbows. So since we want a nice functional press, right, not a flared out press with the elbows coming out, Scott's gonna make sure to keep his elbows nice and close to his rib cage, kind of brushing his rib cage as he goes up and down. Okay, so now that the hands and the arms are set, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure we're nice and hollow. So his core is tight, and he's actually in a slightly curved position like this here. So you'll notice here, his chest is touching the ground from the pecs up, but his hips and his thighs are off the ground. Now he's ready to complete his push-up. So he's gonna press to full extension, keeping his core nice and tight, still in that hollow body position. Notice the only thing touching now is hands and feet. He comes down, makes contact with the ground with his chest. That's the bottom point, and back out full extension. Thank you, go ahead and relax. Doing those in volume is gonna start to add up pretty quickly, or you might not even be there yet, and you may need to scale back just a little bit. So the first scale back is to drop down to a knee push-up. So Scott is in a nice hollow position as if you were ready to do a push-up, except he's gonna drop now his knees to the ground. He's gonna go from full extension, touch his chest to the ground, back up to full extension, come down one more time. Now you'll notice, just like in his regular push-up, he's keeping his core and his hips off the ground. Your legs might make contact a little bit at the bottom here, but we still wanna remain hollow. Elbows are tracking back, presses out to full extension. Let's take a few minutes and cover things that we see that are not really push-ups, okay? So let's get to a regular push-up position. Scott's gonna be nice and hollow. He's gonna come down to the ground. He's gonna make contact at the bottom, except now he's gonna peel his chest up and he's gonna worm his way up off the ground. Now, oftentimes you'll see this as someone who's just starting to work their way maybe from a knee push-up to a regular push-up. Look at that torquing, it's beautiful, right? We wanna avoid that. We'd rather see a nice, good quality knee push-up, right? If you can't get the regular push-ups, but the goal here is that we want to make sure that we're keeping the core nice and hollow, keep that hollow body intact, and not slinking our way up. Now, when he comes down for his push-up here, again, he's kind of worming his way up. See, he's breaking at the hip. He's sending his butt back first. Again, we're losing that integrity of that midline here. Not really a good push-up. Next one, Scott's gonna show us here partial range of motion. This is our favorite. So he's gonna start from full extension. He comes down about halfway. Nice, right? He can do 1,000 of those. We're not gonna count one of them. Next thing we're gonna do here, he's gonna, again, partial range of motion. He's making contact at the bottom, but he's not fully extending his arms at the top. All right, so this is one we love to see, right? You see this one all over the place. You've got that midsection dropping down, that arched back. He's doing a belly push-up here, right? Even though, yes, he's making contact at the bottom and his arms are going from full extension and coming back down, we're missing the point here. We're not truly hitting full range of motion because we're cutting it short by having our belly, because of that arched back, hitting the ground only about halfway. So we're missing about half the work when we're doing it that way. Once we start breaking down at that point, we can always scale back even further, modifying that angle just a little bit more. We can grab a box, or in this case, we're gonna use a stack of plates right here behind us. So Scott's gonna get down, he's gonna set his hands still just about shoulder width apart. Core is nice and tight, and from the knees here, he's gonna come down, he's gonna make contact with his chest, press back out to full extension. Now, something I wanna touch on here real quick. The angle at which you're coming down is very, very important. So if you're using a box, for example, or in this case, the plates, you wanna make sure that that contact point is still at that same contact point you would have at the ground. So right here, right above the bra line, right? So right at the chest. We don't wanna come down and make contact with the collarbone or come down with the belly. That's not a very functional pressing motion. So we wanna make sure we keep that range of motion nice and tight here, directly underneath the chest. So Scott's gonna come down, he's gonna make contact with the chest and press to full extension. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.